this is Brenda Gagne. In this video I wanted to give you 3 tips that are extremely helpful when working from home and trying to manage your time. Time management, and if you listen to Jeffrey Combs at all, you say there's no such thing as time management. It's how you manage yourself in time. And that's very true because, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Why is it that so many people can get so much done and so many people can't get anything done? It's really what's between the 2 ears right here is what depends on how you get stuff done in the time that you have. So you want to be productive in the time that you have. Let's say you've got 3 hours total in the day to work on your business. You've got a job, you've got a family, you've got commitments. Let's say if you think about the entire 12 hours that you're awake or 15 hours that you're awake, how much time do you actually have to be specific, dedicated to your business? Okay, so that's actually tip number 1, is you need to figure out what your work times are. If you only have a half hour here and a half hour here, well, put it down on paper. Once you have stuff on paper, things can transform for you. Sounds kind of weird, but it's very true. Things transform when they come out of your mind when you put them on paper. If you've got a few hours in your day, put it on paper. Block out your day. That is definitely tip number 1. Block out your day into when are you physically working and when are you not. It's helpful for your brain too. If you're thinking about work, when you're doing something, you may be feeling guilty that you're not quite doing this. Or if you're at home doing, something with your family, you got work on your mind and you're kind of feeling guilty that you're not over there. Okay, that's just wasted mind energy. It's not helpful in anything that you're doing. So if you've got your days blocked up into times and this is your work time, this is your family time, this is your relaxing time, which you definitely want to have in there too, then it's going to help you feel less stressed and you can focus on the activities that you're actually doing. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 would be the fact that, I don't know, what's tip number 2? Tip number 2, okay. Tip number 2 would be the fact that you need to know what you're going to do when you have these small time blocks. Because there's nothing like, coming to the fact that you've got a half hour to work and then you're just wondering, let me do my email right now and, I got to answer this and I got to make this phone call and then bam, half hour is gone and you weren't productive. Okay, so you need to think about ahead of time, what is it that you're going to do in those time blocks to make sure that you're effective? Okay, so the best way to do that is, I'm sure you may have heard this before, if not, this is one technique that has personally changed my life, and I know a couple other top earners that use this technique as well. The day before, or when you're finally finished with your last time block, what needs to get done tomorrow? What are the top 3 or 5 things that have to get done tomorrow, and in what order? And write that down on paper, so that the next time you come back to your computer, or you come back to your phone, or whatever it is that you're actually working, boom, there they are. You know exactly what needs to get done, and then you can hop right on it. So that is tip number 2, figuring out what you need to do in those time blocks. All right? Tip number 3 would be backing it up a little bit more into the fact of how can you be productive in those time blocks that you have. So I'm starting broad and I'm pulling it back down a little bit. So you've got your time blocks. Now you know what you're doing in those time blocks. How are you productive in those specific time blocks? Let's say you've got that 5 things that you have to get done, but you're working on number 2 and your email comes up with this thing that you've got to respond to, and then your phone rings and you got to answer this person back. That's not being productive in the time that you have. Okay, you got to make sure that you're being productive, which means eliminating your distractions. If you've got a focused hour that you are creating, you're making a video or you're creating an article or you're working on something, you need to take away those distractions and put them away. Turn off your phone, turn off your TV, turn off your email, and focus on the task at hand. Sounds very simple, but a lot of people don't do it, and you can't imagine how effective it really is if you actually do that. And when you're done, then go ahead and open it up and specifically make different time blocks for different things. Now those are 3 quick tip strategies for helping you maximize your time. But if you look below, I've actually created an entire book on this topic, and I go into a lot more depth than what I just gave you right here. A lot more depth. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? What self-sabotaging behaviors are actually pulling you back from going out and producing what you want? It's very interesting how the mind works, and if you're not intuitive into why you're doing what you're doing, all the way back from when you grew up. It's a little bit eye-opening. So if you're having a little bit of time struggling with getting things done in the allotted time that you have, or if maybe you feel like you might be a little bit of a procrastinator, my time management book, which is called Got Time book that I have below, like I said, they've got some extremely good specific information for you that if you apply what's in this book, it's really going to change the way that you're working a lot more effectively. Alright, so go ahead and look below and you can see the information. Otherwise, this is Brenda Gagne and have a great day. Bye-bye.